Welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner, and I have two very special ladies here today. We have Ms. Andrea Disney. She's a teacher specialist for gifted education and academic rigor services, also known as GEARS. And then we have Debbie Allen, who's an AP biology teacher at Maury High School. And you're both here. We're going to be talking about advanced placement for the update for this upcoming fall 2019. So welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on the show today. I know a lot of parents at home are like, yes, I want to hear what's happening with AP testing, and students too. But first, Andrea, tell us, what are advanced placement courses and how many AP courses do we offer here in Norfolk Schools?
Sure. Advanced placement is offered through College Board. It gives students the opportunity to take college level courses and possibly earn college credit while still in high school. Here in Norfolk Public Schools, we have over 30 AP courses offered among the 5 high schools.
Wow, so we have our students take, so approximately what, 30 take AP tests?
Oh gosh, no, we had over 1,000 students take AP tests
Wow.
last year.
Okay.
We offer 30 different AP courses throughout the 5 high schools.
Okay, I got you. Okay, and last year, how many did our students take?
So actually we had almost 1,300 students sit for over 2,500 AP exams.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is.
And that's a good thing, though.
Absolutely,
That's a good
absolutely.
thing. So are there any changes coming up for the AP testing?
There are lots of changes coming up this school year. Starting this school year, the registration process for ordering AP exams is going to be a lot easier. Students are joining their teachers' classrooms through a platform called My AP Classroom. They join the classroom, they register for the exam, they commit early to take the exam that they will sit for in May. Students have access to a lot of resources through the My AP Classroom. Teachers also have access to resources like progress checks, a question bank for their particular course. It just makes it a lot easier. College Board has created all of these programs for increasing access and equity to students all across the country.
That's great. So as a teacher, is it an expectation that if students take the AP courses that they're supposed to take the AP exams?
Yes. So the district has that expectation, the College Board has that expectation, and I have that expectation in my classroom as well. Even if the students struggle on the exam and struggle through the class, they benefit from having taken that exam. So there's growth no matter
right.
what.
Yeah. Andrea, how are these tests paid for?
Great question. Norfolk Public Schools doesn't want the costs involved with the exam to be a barrier for the students.
Oh, wow.
So every student in Norfolk Public Schools gets one AP exam for free, regardless of how many they're taking. Students who qualify for the College Board fee reduction, which reduces the original cost of the exam by $29, if they qualify for that exam, Norfolk Public Schools covers all of those fees.
That's good news for parents and students.
It's fantastic. Students who don't qualify for that reduction also get a discount. The exams are about $85 for those students. Norfolk Public Schools covers all but $15 of that expense. So they also get a huge discount. All in all, last year, Norfolk Public Schools paid for almost $175,000 of those fees associated with the exams. Because again, they don't want the finances to be a barrier for the students to take the exam.
And that's great that our students have that opportunity. So Debbie, what kind of new materials has College Board provided to you this year to help you with the students?
So several of the courses have been redesigned. And so for those courses that have been redesigned, like biology, we were all given a new curriculum exam description binder. And in that, they've taken the content and broken it down into units and topics so that we know very specifically what it is we are to teach. And in the case of biology, there are also lists of excluded items or material that is beyond the scope of the class. And so we know what our science practices are, and we know what our content is.
Well, you walked in the studio today with a thick binder. What's in that binder?
Oh gosh, all kinds of things. So the unit, the units are in there, and each topic has a very specific list of learning objectives and enduring understandings, so that we know specifically what content is to be taught for biology, for instance, and that is aligned with colleges across the country. Also in that binder is a test description or an exam description, which tells us, for instance, what science practices are going to be measured, and for every unit, what percentage of the exam that unit will cover that unit. So we know that gene regulation is more heavily weighted, for instance, in cell structure and function. The other thing that's in there is that they spell out what the free responses are and what's covered not only by each of the 6 free responses, but the parts of the free responses. So I'm an AP reader. I think it's very important for the kids to understand how it is they're tested. We certainly know that that's a skill at the college level. And so being able to teach the kids and work them as we go through the year in the manner that they're going to be tested at the end is a really powerful strategy.
What type of training did you receive to become an advanced placement teacher?
So they have always had summer institutes. They're week-long. In the case of a science, they go through the labs and they also go through the content. They teach you what the test is about. This year I received the scholarship to go to the New Resources APSI, or Summer Institute. And from there we looked at the redesign, we received our binders, we got to work with the binders and the content and that kind of thing. And on top of that, a whole bunch of new labs and activities. So I feel like that was a really powerful thing to go to this summer. And I'm happy to share that with the rest of the AP Bio teachers in the district.
That's awesome. So, Andrea, we're in year 2 of the National Math and Science Institute grant with Booker T and Lake Taylor High School. What is the grant for and what kind of results have we seen?
Sure. The National Math Science Initiative, or NMSI for short, partners with schools all across the country to increase success and participation in AP classes related to STEM. In the second year, we're right now in the second year with Booker T and Lake Taylor. Right now they're focusing on increasing participation. Lake Taylor saw a 57% increase in participation during year 1 of NMSI. Booker T saw a 16% increase in their participation. They also added courses to their offerings. Booker T added physics to their offerings. Lake Taylor and
That's good.
yeah, absolutely. Lake Taylor offered statistics and chemistry, and both schools this year are offering AP Computer Science Principles.
What type of training has NMSI provided to us?
So the AP STEM teachers at the 2 high schools receive 7 days of training for each of the 3 years, 4 in the summer, 2 in the fall, 1 in the spring. In addition to that, NMSI sponsored Laying the Foundation training. That is training that they offer to teachers all across the district, grades 3 through 12.
Oh, that's good.
It's fantastic. The training helped teachers build their capacity for content and really honing in on skills that the students would need to be successful in future classes like AP or honors courses. And we were really lucky in that 80 of our teachers across the district were able to attend that training this summer.
Well, tell us about the AP Capstone Diploma. What is that?
All right, so AP Capstone is also offered through College Board. It's a 2-year program. Students take 2 AP courses specifically as part of this program. AP Seminar is the first course they take, followed by AP Research. If they are successful in those classes and get a 3 or higher qualifying score on the AP exam, then they also take an additional 4 AP courses during their high school career and earn a 3 or higher. On those courses, they qualify for an AP Capstone Diploma.
Wow, how many graduates do we have that qualify for this distinction?
So last year at Norview High School, we had 17 AP Capstone Diploma recipients, which is fantastic. This year, 3 of our high schools have the potential to graduate their seniors also with an AP Capstone Diploma.
That's good news. That is good news. It sounds like this is a real robust program and offerings and opportunities for our students, and I hope this was very informative to parents and some of the students who are interested in AP placement, so AP courses. And I just thank you both. I'm just excited about this, and I'm sure the parents are too. So thank you both for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Stutmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Today in the studio we have 2 special guests, and they're from Maury High School. We have Brian Bennett, the head coach for cross country. Welcome.
Thank you.
And he's brought a pretty good athlete with him, Maeve Stiles, cross country runner, track member at Maury High School. So welcome, Maeve.
Thank you.
All right. So, Coach, let's talk about last year, because last year really was the a coming out year for the Maury cross country program. So talk a little bit about last year.
Sure. So it was my 5th season, and there's been a learning curve for me as a coach. I did not compete in high school, for instance, and when I began as a coach, the program was pretty small, and the culture has it's grown and grown and grown each season. Mm-hmm. So it was a breakout year. We had the leadership of, at that point, senior captain Eliza Madison, Maeve, and just a great group of girls, including Eamon Abdus and Lauren Harvey, Danny Byers, Lucy Skirman, and Hannah James. And I credit the girls as well as the boys with creating a culture that was designed to compete, mm-hmm. was designed to not just have fun, but to practice well and commit to season-long goals.
Okay.
And really, it wasn't until early October that we realized where we were in the rankings. We certainly had a goal of reaching states, but we didn't realize that we had a real chance at winning regionals, mm-hmm. not just advancing to states.
So with that,
yes, sir.
You just said about winning regionals. So
yes, sir.
Maeve, talk about last year a little bit. Regional champ, 5A regional champ, and then 9th in the state. So talk a little bit about last year as well.
So last year, junior year, so it was a hard year academically, but also just for running wise, it's like the big recruiting year and stuff like that. And so I wanted to, of course I gave it my all 2 years prior, but that was the year where I really wanted to do stuff like as a team and grow, and I knew we had the depth to do that. So it was just a lot of working hard, coming to every practice, and we were able to accomplish everything we really wanted to, and hopefully again this year.
Okay, so coming into this year, what's it like having those expectations on you, being hunted, one individual and then two as a team?
Well, it's definitely different than last year. We're the underdogs. That's what we were last year, and then this year, like coming out on top, it's definitely, we have a lot to live up to. And I think as a team, though, we're going to thrive under the pressure, and we're not going to let it get to us, the fact that we're no longer the underdogs. We are the hunted. Okay. And so I think we're going to grow as a team and hopefully, again, win regionals.
All right. So, Coach, to date, how is the team progressing?
I'd say we're progressing right on schedule. I mean, we try to focus on the day-to-day improvements, and as Maeve said, not get bogged down with the weight of expectations. They are high schoolers after all, so we commit to having fun, working hard, and I tell you, this summer, the summer training was extraordinary in the sense that there was a clear difference in the expectations from the student athletes. Girls and boys team. It's just been a tremendous lift. So with that being said, we've already competed in some high stakes invitationals, mm-hmm. including one adjacent to the state course up at the Plains, Virginia. And the team is progressing really well. Maeve has PR'd several times, and we're again right where we want to be.
Okay.
But hoping to peak, obviously, at regionals and
sure.
states. Yeah.
So, Maeve,
mm-hmm.
talk about how you got involved in running.
Well, as a kid, I always ran a lot of the 5Ks in the region. We have a lot of those in Norfolk, and so I guess I loved running, and I never really thought that there was a big future in it, because a lot of people don't talk about like cross country or track athletes. It's mostly like football, basketball, tennis, and stuff like that. But I really got into it 8th grade year when I decided to do Blair Middle School track, and I loved it. And then going into high school, I did cross country and outdoor track, and I just fell in love with it. Mm-hmm. And from there, the rest is history.
Well, I've seen you run around the track since you were probably in 8th grade, mm-hmm. so you've definitely done a heck of a job. So, Coach, what makes Maeve so special?
It's hard to put into just a few sentences. I mean, we know that she's a high caliber athlete. She's so competitive and yet relaxed at the same time. And I mean, there's no doubt she's the best distance runner in Maury history, if not NPS history, especially on the female side. I think what sets Maeve apart is she's the whole package. She's a stellar student. She's in the medical and health specialties program. She's one of the top-ranked students at Maury. She is involved in extracurriculars. She's a member of the orchestra. She seems to do it all and yet strike that balance that is so difficult for even adults to achieve. And she has also embraced a leadership role her senior season that is more than admirable. It's outstanding.
Okay. So he just said something about leadership, Maeve. Great qualities that he just spoke about you. So talk about being a leader, and what's that like? Is there pressure to that, or is it kind of natural for you?
Well, it definitely, going into the season, I was a little daunted by it. I'm following the legacy of Eliza Madison, who was an amazing captain, and it was definitely a shift to kind of, I mean, I was always focused about the team, but it was more so now that I have to put the team as a priority, rather than just like going into a race, like getting in my zone, like I have to make sure everyone else is okay, check in. So it's definitely a lot more responsibility to put others first in addition to my own racing. So I don't know, I've just been so lucky to have the most wonderful team. They're all so dedicated and they're as passionate as I am about it. And so I'm excited to lead this Maury cross country era.
All right. So you do both. You do the cross country and then you go the outdoor track. So talk about some of the differences with both sports.
Well, both, of course, it's running. It's not much different, but it is, for cross country, we're running like 35 miles a week, so it's more distance and longer training. And then as soon as we go to track, we focus more on the sprinting side of it because we do already have that base from cross country, so it's more being able to run a while, but faster too, like a shorter distance, like a mile or 800. And I love my track team just as much as cross country, and so it's always good to see different faces than ones that I've seen on cross country.
Okay. All right. So, Coach, just we've talked about the team a little bit, but give us your, what are the expectations? The season's coming close to an end now, and now we're moving into that regional and the state level. So,
yes, sir. We expect to compete. Our core values are having fun and competing. And we try to strike that balance, but as we progress toward regionals, the expectation for the girls team is to win. We have expectations beyond regionals though, and certainly acknowledging we have fierce competition in a region that's grown with additional teams, and we certainly have a lot of respect for outstanding programs in the area. We have expectations for Maeve and the girls to compete well at states, and this is Maeve's 4th trip, so she knows the course well. She was all-state last year, and she's trying to win a state championship and be in that picture. The boys' team is also growing, and we have not been competitive at the regional level in the past. We've done well at districts, but we're hoping to aim for the top 3 spots, and the top 3 teams at the regional meet advance to the state meet. So we're working on building that culture and the expectation of competing.
Very good. So obviously we wish you good luck with that.
Thank you so much.
You're doing a great job. So Maeve, we're going to end with you. Talk a little bit about the future. If is running part of the future in terms of at the college level?
Yes, I've fallen in love with running even more this year, and I realize that it's something that I want to have in my future, whether it's running competitively or just running in general, even past college. But I'm definitely looking to running towards colleges.
I want to thank both of you for being down here. Again, continued success, and we look forward to all the great things that are coming.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
More NPS Now after this.
Welcome back to NPS Now. With me today is our Safe Routes to Schools coordinator, Teresa Pusateri, who's going to talk about the great things that are happening in this program and some activities that may be going on with it. So welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you for having me.
So explain for our audience, what is Safe Routes to School program?
Safe Routes to School is a national program that's it's grant funded from the Virginia Department of Transportation, and this year we were actually awarded the largest grant in the state of Virginia.
So as a Safe Routes to School coordinator, What is your role here at Norfolk?
My most important role is I write the grant. It's a pretty lengthy process. It takes a few months. So once we have the grant secured, I do different events with the children and at the different schools, and predominantly work with the PE teachers and the principals and provide them safety material, education materials, and just the tools and resources they need to teach safe ways to bike and walk to school.
So is that what goes into the grant?
Yes, 100%. The grant is for safety for these students with Norfolk Public Schools, education, and just making sure they're getting to and from school safely.
So in our area here, the 7 cities, are there any other school districts that have safe routes to school?
Yeah, there's actually 18 in the state of Virginia. A lot of people don't know that. Close to our region, there's Portsmouth, Chesapeake, Newport News, and I know Hampton just received a grant this year.
Oh, that's great. So everyone's looking at safety.
Correct, yeah.
Walking to school and being safe. So tell me about some of the events for Safe Routes to School.
So with Safe Route to School, there's a few events that we celebrate throughout the year. In October, we just had Walk to School Day. That's a great way that we try to get the parents actively involving their children to walk to school safely. In February, we have Crossing Guard Appreciation Day. And that's just where we honor, we celebrate the crossing guards and try to kind of let them know that we appreciate what they do for our children. And lastly, in May is Bike to School Month. Within that month, there is Bike to School Day. And throughout that month, we do different bike safety activities, bike rodeos, which are basically after school bike clinics, where we have volunteers and local agencies that come in and help teach bike safety.
What kind of things do people see at the bike rodeos?
At the bike rodeos, for once, the police department will be there. They'll be on their bicycles, kind of giving the kids a little ride through the neighborhoods. We have different stations set up, a bike safety station for how to fit your helmet, how to check your bike for the correct brakes, air pressure, tire pressure, that your chain's working properly, and also just lots of active volunteers in the community that just want to help teach the children.
Wow, for the parents' sake, are there any fees associated with these events?
0 fees.
Okay, good.
Safe Routes to School is 100% funded by Virginia Department of Transportation, so everything that goes into it, from t-shirts that we give away, bike helmets, bike locks, bike bells, different fun things like pencils and erasers and activity books. It's 100% free, and every kid will go home with something.
Yeah, so the grant pays for it. I'm looking at some of these items on the table. How does the grant pay for some of these? What are some of the things you're giving away?
Well, what I try to do is anything that promotes safety. For instance, these activity books, there's a lot of information for the kids to read. They're actually coloring books with some different word activities and just pictures that show the safe way to put on your helmet, that sort of thing. We do give away bike helmets. Pencils are just fun for the kids, bracelets, just anything to give them incentive to walk and bike to school.
And we don't want to take it for granted that they know proper safety, how to put a helmet on, how to cross the street, how to do those things. So it's good that we have a Safe Routes to School program to actually do that.
Exactly, and what we try to do is work with the PE teachers, and the PE teachers go through a little bit of training, so when they do this in their PE class, they know the correct way to do these things.
So for bike donations, if someone says, hey, I have a bike, I want to donate it new or gently used, how can they do that?
They can contact me via email, tpusateri@nps.k12, and I will get directly with them, or just call the Health, PE, and Safety Department, and I will get with them right away. We do accept any sort of donation, monetary, equipment, bicycles, helmets, locks, anything we do graciously accept.
Oh, so will you give helmets with the bikes that you receive?
Yes, that's part of our thing. So we want the kids to ride their bikes. We want them to be safe. So having the proper equipment, the bike helmet on, that's what we need them wearing.
Okay, so reiterate for us what your email address is and phone number so they can contact you for that, because that's important.
Yeah, it's tpusateri@nps.k12.com.
So what else do you provide in this program?
A lot of it has to do is working with the principals and the PE teachers. So I like to give them some curriculum. So a lot of educational materials, a lot of examples of how to teach bike or pedestrian safety in their classroom. The bike rodeos are a big hit. We like to do those a little bit in the fall, but mostly in the month of May. And that's where we really have a lot of our bike safety experts out to teach these activity courses.
So do you provide bicycles for instructional purposes?
Yes, with Safe Routes to School, with the grant money we receive, we have plenty of bikes for all different ages, sizes, grades. And we bring those to the rodeos. So if your child does not have a bike, we will have a bike for them to borrow for that duration.
So you said you work with the PE teachers. What specific type of training do you have for them or that you do with them for this?
Training is a lot of the kind of ABCs about the bicycle itself. You know, checking the brakes, checking the air, checking the chain, so they know how to do that so they can teach the kids. Also, the bike helmet, that's a major thing, so it's not too loose, it's not too snug, it's just kind of just perfectly right. And then just different activities they can run the kids through, different stations of braking, stopping, looking left, looking right. Those are all important things for riding to school and just riding leisurely.
Well, this has been a great conversation for those who are avid bike riders or the ones in the lower grades so they're just learning how to ride a bike and also how to walk to school properly. So I'm so glad we had you on the show today, and thank you for joining us and sharing information with us about Safe Routes to School.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS, Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or some events happening at your school, please be sure to email us at npsnews@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.